Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Formula Schizo Podcast. This episode is aptly titled Lewis Hamilton's Lost Dreads. In this episode, we will be discussing the recent Bahrain Grand Prix, everything that occurred, and everything in between. I'm joined today by, again, the German one. It's Finn.
Hello and welcome. Thanks for having me back. If you wonder why my accent's different, that's because I'm not at my setup.
In the next corner is the Northerner. It's Sherry.
Good to be back. Love everyone here.
No, you don't. In the next corner, it's the Swiss one. He's back again.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me. Wonderful to be back.
In the final corner, it's Bojan, the AirPod specialist.
Yeah, I'm Bojan. I have a shit microphone. Apologize for that.
And me, I'm your host. My name's Widow. Let's get this show on the road. Right, don't all jump up at once.
So I just got. Oh, should we mention that we got Viro as our no-micer as well?
I forgot he was here, I will be honest.
That's so mean.
That's so bad.
First episode, you forgot about Moggus, and now you forgot about fucking
Right, that's
Pyro.
It's a trend
Come
now.
on.
Oh my god, you're just gonna start forgetting him. Yeah, to quote Viro, go fuck yourself. I hope we don't have to bleep that. Nobody cares.
Sherry mentioned she had a conversation starter.
Conversation
Yes.
straight?
Hit me.
So I thought I'd bring up. I read a news story today about George Russell's new contract. Has anyone seen this?
I've seen something about
Has
it.
he renewed it?
I heard he was rumoured for a new one.
Well, rumour or not, this is what I've heard about it. So he's currently on £11.6 million a year. He's going to be getting a 2-year extension, and his new contract amount is going to be £25.7 million a year.
Jesus
That's a
fucking
lot of
Christ!
guacamole.
Bloody hell.
That's a £14.1 million increase
Damn.
in a year.
Go on, give me that in a percentage. It don't make sense if it's not a percentage. What was he on before?
He was on 11.6 and now he's on 25.7.
Oh, that's like a 200% increase.
That's quite a lot for the Woody
200
boy.
would be like 22 million, I think. That's like 120% increase, I think.
Damn.
How do you think George Russell spends his money?
Cars and hair product.
Latex and femboys.
Before we get into this was the conversation that I wanted to have. But before anyone gives their input, I do have a video demonstration that I would like to show all of you. A presentation, if you will.
A video
Oh, a
demonstration.
PowerPoint.
Just quickly, by the way, I just got up my calculator. It's 118.18%. So it's
Good maths.
118.18% increase.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
they got rid of Lewis Hamilton,
bad,
so they
no.
can spend it on him.
Russell is expected to sign a 2-year extension with an option for 2028 and an agreement believed to be worth around $30 million per season. To put that into perspective, $30 million per season is enough to retire about 10 people per year for life. If you spend the money right.
There was that millionaire that was asked, like, how much money do you think you really ever need? And I think he says it's like 16 million or something. That's all you'd ever need.
I mean, I've heard that 1 million euros could save you for normal people like for 40 years.
Yeah, and that's if you don't invest any of it,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you could live off the interest for the rest of your life. No,
basically.
you wouldn't even need to invest it. You just stick it in your bank account and you get the interest.
Yeah, but it would be very dumb not to invest it.
Problem is you pay taxes on that.
Yeah, we're turning into a fucking finance podcast now. Jesus
Let's
Christ.
be real. Who in their right mind is putting money into the stock market at the minute?
Oh,
Yeah.
everyone.
Me. No, I'm joking.
You're not in your right mind, though, Sherry.
We should start our own coin.
Oh my god, Schizo coin.
Oh my god,
Schizo
yes.
coin,
Yes.
jeez.
Empty
And
my
then we
bank
rug
account.
pull everyone.
Empty my bank account.
Yeah, let's do a bump
It's
and
the
dump
second
scheme.
fucking episode, and we're already talking about scamming people. This is going well.
No.
This is going
No, we
so
need to
well.
we need to do NFTs first.
Yeah.
NFTs, and then we do a
We
pump
can
and
have-
dump and
Oh,
then
we can
them.
we can sell Finn in the maid dress
Oh my god.
as an NFT.
When do we start selling Sherry's bathwater?
Never. Think that'll cause some health problems for people.
Jesus.
I cut my toenails the other
God.
morning. Do you want me to sell that?
Yeah.
Please
That's
don't.
right.
I would empty
Any
my bank
takers?
account.
Somebody out there will buy them,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure. Anyway, have we got this PowerPoint yet?
So this is something that I prepared earlier.
Here's one I made earlier.
Live-Reaction, Klappe die zweite.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hit it.
Hello, everyone. This is my presentation on what I think George Russell should do
Absolute
with his
cinema.
£14.1 million. So here's George Russell, looking quite happy with his newly acquired wage increase. Many other people may invest such a huge wad of cash in different ways. Things such as, motorsport-related ventures, charity, property, endorsements, cars. He's probably got enough of them. Financial investments, stocks and bonds. Maybe
glorious.
he likes the price of
This is
Nvidia at the
fucking
moment and he
glorious.
wants to
Talking of the
get involved in
schizocoin.
that. Well,
Yeah.
no,
No.
he shouldn't.
No.
What I think
No.
he should do, it's the only logical answer really,
Oh, no.
is buy a yacht.
Yes.
Who else has a yacht?
Everyone.
You may be asking yourself.
Putin.
Well, I'll tell you who else has a yacht. Lewis
Oh.
Hamilton has a yacht. Max Verstappen has a yacht. And Fernando Alonso, the rookie driver, also has a yacht. You may ask yourself, what do
You know what?
these drivers have in common
Lance
with each other, apart from the yacht?
They're world champions.
Lewis Hamilton, 7-time world champion. That's it. Max Verstappen, 4-time world champion.
3.5.
Fernando Alonso, 2 times world
Should be
champion.
5.
So taking that into consideration, what kind of yacht should George Russell buy for himself? Well, there are some key
Get a Hobie
facts
Cat.
about George Russell which
Get
I
a
put on the
catamaran.
screen here. He was born in Kings Lynn, which is in Norfolk.
Web feet.
He was born in 1998.
Best year.
His racing
You
number
need something German.
is number 63. And he races for the Mercedes AMG Petronas F1
So glad you
team.
didn't say Benz.
So I did some digging online, had a look for some yachts, and this is the one that I found. I think he'll like it
Oh,
too.
that looks
It's
so
this yacht right
cool.
here.
That's pretty
Damn.
It's called the Norfolk
Oh
Star.
my god, that's awesome.
He was born in Norfolk,
Is
so I think
math
the name
hard,
is
Sherry?
quite fitting.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
For a price of only 4.4 million euros. I think that's an absolute bargain. It was built in 1998, which is the
That's
year
a
he was born.
massive fucking
And that is not
chonker.
edited at all. That is the actual number 8 there that you see. It was refitted in 2020. Got a little bit of a revamp. What else happened in 2020? You might ask
COVID.
yourself. Well, I'll tell you what
Mercedes
happened.
debut.
George Russell stood in for Lewis Hamilton
Oh,
at the Sakir Grand Prix. The yacht was built in Perini Navi, Italy.
where is
Why
it?
is that significant?
Imola.
Well, let me tell you. Perini Navi is an Italian shipyard based in
Based?
Tuscany, Italy. You know what else happened in Tuscany, Italy?
The Tuscany Grand Prix!
The 2020 Tuscan Grand Prix.
Oh, it's
And
all
if that's not
connected!
enough, I even analysed the colour of the cushions on the
It's a
yacht,
lovely colour, I'm not gonna
on the
lie.
outside deck, which are really
Let me
nice.
guess.
But this colour is also quite significant, because you know who else wears this colour?
Fernando
George
Alonso.
Russell.
The different colours.
And
Oh!
that is exactly the same colour.
They
And
didn't.
I will not be taking any
I'm a
comments
little
on
bit
this matter.
colorblind and I do not see the difference.
Thank you.
Bravo! Bravo! Bravo!
Absolute.
No,
Bravo!
Absolute
Absolute cinema!
That was
Absolute cinema.
Fantastic.
Oh, how much free time do you have?
I had quite a day today.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Dude,
Goodness
I
gracious.
think actually a yacht is quite a shout. I'm a sailor myself.
See, none of that seems to relate to femboys and latex, I'll be honest with you.
He already is a fanboy and he probably owns latex.
See, my question is, how many sloppy toppies or massages with happy endings did it take him to get that 118.18% increase?
I hope none with Kimi because
Well,
that would be illegal.
none with Antonelli around, yeah.
He does. He entered one of the GPs last year in latex pants as virus. See, there you go.
Did he? What the fuck?
Somebody get on that.
What if
Yeah, I'm looking
What
it
if-
up.
What if this pay rise that he's getting is hush money from Toto Wolff?
For hushing for what?
Question.
Hush money. George knows something about Toto Wolff that he doesn't want the media
You
to
mean
know.
the Toto
What is
Epstein?
that picture? That Reddit one? What is that third picture?
George Toto Wolff is buying George
what
Russell's
the
silence.
fuck?
Oh my god.
What is this?
Maybe.
Yeah, what is that?
Oh my god.
Somebody is turning into me, I guess, but
What the fuck? Yeah, I'm looking at the exact same pictures, but I can't see really latex pants. I
No,
can only see a leather jacket with a neck
If I were getting
pullover.
confused between leather and latex.
Maybe.
Well, for reference, anyway, Charles Leclerc is on 26.3 million, so he's not really far off from that.
Yeah, but he drives a Ferrari.
Yeah, exactly.
right.
It's crazy, and also it's bad news for the fantasy team.
Oh, for fuck's sake, you're right. My fantasies.
Oh, not the fantasy again.
If you want George Russell on your fantasy team next year, you can go fuck yourself. That's what Toto Wolff said.
Yeah, but it's fine.
I mean, they really need to up the budget for the
Yeah,
fantasy.
the budget
they
cap
do.
is not
These
doing
drivers are getting too expensive.
it. You're right.
Not being funny. You can have like one top end driver, and the rest has to be rookies and back markers.
Yeah, it's true. I really want to get back on the yacht because I'm enamored with it. That thing was so cool.
Do you want me to send you the link?
Yes. Fucking hell. That thing looked
Fucking hell.
It is actually really nice, to be fair, and I just stumbled across it, and then I ended up just coming across all these things.
You just casually browse for yachts in your free time.
Yeah. I had to make sure he gets the right one. This is the right one.
360. Oh, that looks so nice!
I know. It's bloody lovely.
Can I point out that said 7 guests, 3 cabins, so somebody's having a threesome.
No. I can
Yeah.
No, I can pretty much guarantee you. Holy fucking shit! Bloody hell!
That's got to be the best pirate I've ever seen.
Oh, look, Scott, wait, go to the left. Is that, there's some switches down there. What's that?
That seems to be
Looks like
internet.
a fridge.
That's Wi-Fi.
No.
Got some bloody
Looks
switches
like
down there.
a fridge.
Got some switches. Don't know what they do.
Got some walkie-talkies. got your throttle right here. See, that is interesting. On like
Yeah,
yachts,
steering
on
wheel.
like little bit smaller yachts that you still have, where you still have the, where you
What's
still
even a sunroof?
where you still have the shit like the steering wheels out back. You usually have 2 steering wheels because you can you can steer either side depending on where the boat lists at the moment. There we go. That's a cabin.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's only like 4.5 million. That's like insane.
Look
Yeah,
at
you're
that
right.
shit.
How's there no reflection? How's there no reflection in the TV? Who the fuck took the picture?
Movie magic.
Vampire. Look at that fucking bathtub! My bathtub isn't that big! And this is... I don't even have one in Bamberg. And this is a fucking boat!
Alright. It's got a bidet. Wash your arsehole.
Yeah, Ghost definitely took these pictures.
So there's no chance.
Wait, I can see it. No, look. There's a smudge.
Yeah, they just photoshopped
Yeah,
it
it's
out.
a spectre. Rich people, when they get rich enough, they have the ability to turn.
Tax the rich.
Eat them!
Speaking of boats, how the fuck did Pierre Gasly in the fucking French canal boat manage to get P7?
Dad? Okay,
How
so
the
we're
hell?
actually moving on to the Grand Prix now.
As I say, we're talking F1 now, yeah, not boats.
Can we still look round the boat, though? I like to look.
I am. There's a twin cabin here, so... Bro, that's just a fucking hotel room. Wait, there's the second bathroom also has a bidet.
I don't like bidets. They feel weird.
That underbed storage.
Underbed store. Hey!
Hey!
There.
Okay, but it's actually pretty gorgeous.
It is! And the TV had a Bose soundbar. Lovely deck. I would always sit up front here right on that thing. Or climb up the mast because I like climbing up masts.
Don't fall on the rope.
Don't
cry.
climb on the mast. Right.
Oh my god, it's going down. There's a whirlpool.
Kraken!
Megalodon! Sea of Thieves!
But honestly, for 4.5 million, I'd rather get a fucking house for that price.
Obviously, but this
Like a
could be
fucking
your house.
beautiful mansion.
Yeah, me too.
No, like the price you pay for like maintenance on that boat, Jesus.
Well, you'd have staff, wouldn't you?
You would need to have a crew to operate this.
Yeah, and you have to pay them as well.
Stop being so logical.
Yeah, let the man dream.
But look at that shit. Look at it. It's like actually bloody gorgeous.
Yeah.
Bloody
We'll buy it,
gorgeous.
don't worry.
Absolutely bloody lovely.
Bloody lovely.
I want to sit right there. That's my favorite part on any boat. Also,
I'm flying,
Jack!
no. Usually, what I like to do is I like to like sit there, or I like to hang myself down there.
Hang
You have to
You
yourself.
don't have to hang yourself.
Calm down.
I can send in some pictures later of how that looks.
You hanging yourself.
Oh,
Please don't
okay.
post those.
They're not allowed in the Discord server.
Anyway,
Can we move on
to the
Formula
F1
One?
business.
Yes.
So,
Right.
F1.
F1.
The French canal boat in P7. How? What do you guys think? How did they do it?
Somebody sent me the qualifying results, please. You can
first
do
of all, I would say the Alpine is not that shit. I think they were just quite unlucky in the last few races, like Ferrari. And yeah, I don't think that's because Duen was on P12 and something like that, so it wasn't like a big gap between these two. So I thought like Pierre Gasly maybe just was just lucky. And
I'd say that was pretty valid, yeah.
so the question is for me, how did Max Verstappen get on P6? But that's small because the Red Bull downfall really showed last weekend because Max Verstappen did a fantastic job in Japanese GP.
I think
Japan.
the performance of the RB21 is going to heavily depend on which track they're at. You know, Japan,
Yeah.
he was confident, he was able to hold his own, he was able to control the pace, he was able to look after everything that was going on, and Bahrain seemed to turn the car upside down completely and utterly.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be like in 2023 with Singapore, where they were completely shit. I think there's gonna be a bit like that, but like not for one track, for every other track.
Well, even Singapore, they weren't. Well, I suppose 24, 23. They were pretty poor. Well, I say pretty poor. They were still. Well, Max was still halfway up the points. But then 24 in Singapore, they weren't terrible, I wouldn't say.
Yeah.
No, they weren't. And I have the qualifying results pulled up, so let's just go through them, I guess. Going out in Q1, we had Carlos Sainz, I think? No.
No, they're the race results, man.
Okay.
Hang on, I've got them. Hang on, let me get my book.
I wrote it down in my diary. Dear diary.
I have it printed out.
I have it printed
So
out.
I have the qualifying results in front of me.
Alright, out in Q1. Behrman, Stroll,
Yep.
Bortoletto, Lawson, Albon.
Yep.
From bottom, that's from 20th to 15th.
Yeah,
16th.
we need to talk about Albon and Hülkenberg, don't we?
We do.
Hulkenberg.
That was pretty
Yes.
piss poor from
Yeah.
the FIA, I will say.
Yeah.
Absolutely
terrible.
terrible.
It would have been so much better if they just left it as it was, rather than going through the effort of deleting Hulkenberg's time. If they just left it, nobody would have been any the wiser.
True. Nobody would have checked. Well, some Twitter nerds would have checked, but, like, come on now. Like, first of all, Hülkenberg dragged his fucking Sauber into Q2.
Which is impressive.
No, he
enough.
didn't.
Well, yes, he did.
We shouldn't have.
Well, but he did, because he's
he
just
didn't,
that good.
because he exceeded track limits in Q1.
How much did he gain by actually exceeding the track limits? Do we know that?
God no, I don't even know what corner he went off at.
Yeah, me neither. But I don't think
question.
it was, like, it was that significant. Viro is checking.
But whether it's not about how much he's gained. It's just the premise that he's left the racing surface, therefore his lap's null. His lap's invalid.
Oh yeah, I obviously know that. What I'm talking about is that I need to defend my goat, of course. What I'm talking about is that in terms of if even if he wouldn't have gone off, the lap probably would still have been good enough for Q2.
Yeah.
I mean, which doesn't matter because he did go off, obviously. But okay, we don't know what.
But if our mum had balls, should have been my dad.
If my grandmother had wheels, she
would have been a bike.
In the end of the day, it didn't really matter because he got disqualified anyway. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Fucking hell. Anyway, but that's spoilering. Anyway, going out in Q2 now were Hulkenberg, Ocon because he fucked it into the wall,
Fucking
Alonso,
French pig.
Hadjar, and
But what
Doohan.
order are you doing this in, man?
I'm doing it from back to front.
I'd like to comment on Ocon's incident.
Yeah.
It very much reminded me of a certain Russian pig
The Mazepeg.
on his Formula One debut.
The Mazepeg.
It was
Mazepeg.
It was
Yeah,
pretty
exactly.
much a carbon copy of the exact same incident. And it seems to be, in the last, 5 years, in the last 5 years, 5 times go in there, 3 Haas cars have ended up in the wall in the same part of the track. Obviously, one of them was torn in 2. But
I mean, the one, you can't really count that one, but I would arguably say Ocon is probably one of the shittiest driver right now.
What?
He just,
No.
yeah.
no,
Not at all.
I will,
Nowhere fucking near.
I will die on that hill. I hate this French pig.
To be honest, like Ocon isn't at his peak right now. I think he hasn't been in the last 2 or 3 years. Like it started to show even when he was driving with
Renault.
what was it? Fernando Alonso back in the Alpine days. Like even then, Fernando was complaining about him like crazy, which was completely right, to be honest. Like Ocon was driving like a fucking asshole.
I think he's the worst teammate of all of them.
Oh yeah, totally. I think he's gotten a bit better.
Bro, Sergio Perez existed.
Sergio wasn't a bad teammate per se.
He didn't crash
He was
into
just
them.
a shitty driver.
Sergio lost his nerve years ago.
He was good at causing red flags for his teammate, yeah.
That is true.
Yeah.
Or for himself.
That's a team player, if you ask me.
But the thing that's fascinating about Ocon, for me, is that he always, in the team where he is, there's always some problems with, like, the teammate, like the crashes with Sergio Perez back then in Force India or Racing Point or whatever, the pink shit Mercedes.
Pierre Gasly.
Yeah. And it was never his fault, apparently, but it was always him involved. So I don't know what I should think about that. Because he's the most, I think he's the guy with the most crashes with the teammates right now on the grid, if that makes sense.
I don't think he's as bad as you
Yeah.
make him out to be. I will be honest.
I don't think so either. Quickly bringing up what Vyro said about Hulkenberg, if I may. Went off in turn 11, off wears off, lost more time than he gained. To close that topic.
Yeah.
Right. But back to Ocon. I think like if you look at the list right now, who else is on the grid? Like, I would put him like at least bottom 5.
Yeah, definitely.
Right now, with
In terms of
like how much
skill?
experience he has and like what his like pace is.
Stroll
maybe.
is worse. Lawson is worse.
Yeah, of course.
I think.
Yeah.
I don't know about Bortoletto right now. I mean, he.
Bortoletto's doing fine.
Yeah, we can't really comment on Bortoletto because he's driving a wheelie bin.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you look at Hulkenberg again, Hulkenberg seems to be able to get it to a decent pace. But I guess Bortoletto is a rookie, so you know.
He got it into Q2 in Australia.
Yeah.
And I can imagine the Sauber's a fucking arsehole to drive.
Oh yeah. If you watched what was it? I think the Suzuka Grand Prix, you can actually see him fighting the car so much. It has to be so
In
painful.
Suzuka, you really see the difference between cars because the difference in Suzuka is you're fast in a good car and you don't have to fight it. If you're in a shit car, you really have to fight it to be somehow quick. So the more calmer the lap looks in Suzuka, the faster is the car. So Suzuka is one of the best points to check that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of qualifying, for this week, for the last weekend, Red Bull introduced a new front wing concept for the RB21. And I'm no expert, but I wonder if that's Red Bull's attempt to sort of try and guide themselves back up to maybe second in the Constructors' Championship. Because it seems to me that Tsunoda has a much better grasp of that car, even in one race.
He did.
Can I tell my theory about Red Bull right now? I think they know they can't hold Verstappen anymore. So they tryna just build a car for everyone. The car was completely based around Max Verstappen. And I think they're just trying to build like a car for every teammate so that both of them are doing decent and instead one good and one shit. So I think that's what's going on right now.
What, so you think Max is going to jump ship?
Yeah, definitely.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think
To where? Aston Martin? Mercedes?
Aston Martin.
Definitely not Mercedes.
You think?
Who are they gonna fire at Mercedes? They were praising Antonelli, like he's Jesus
you're
Christ,
right.
and now they increased George Russell's payment. So I don't think Mercedes.
Yeah, and George doesn't want Max.
Yeah,
George doesn't want Max, but I'm
Yeah.
still convinced Toto would bite anyone's hand off to have a chance at having Max in his own car.
I even believe a bit. I mean, I'm a Ferrari fan, so I'm a bit delusional. So
I was just about to say, hold your cocks, because what if he goes to Ferrari?
no, wait. I'm not saying that.
Imagine.
Lewis and Max in the same team.
Oh, no, I don't think Lewis is going to be around until 2026, to be honest. Maybe he stays until like 2025 at the end of the season.
Bro, that's next year. You think Lewis is
Yeah.
only going to do 1 year at Ferrari?
Nah, 2 years at least.
Yeah, I think 2026 is his last year.
Ever?
Probably. Maybe. Yeah. I'd say 2026 if this year goes shit, or next year. Like,
Well, they're already on the orb.
Lewis wants to win, and I don't think any other team after Ferrari is gonna want him like one of the top teams right now. So my guess is 2026 is gonna be, or 2026 or 2027 is gonna be the end. At latest 2027.
Well, he could go to Aston Martin, right? What if he wanted to follow Adrian Newey?
That's what I'm thinking. I think maybe Alonso is jumping off, or if Alonso stays, I think Lawrence Stroll might have the shaft right now to kick his own son if he's doing shit.
Well, hasn't Lance been given sort of an ultimatum by the team? Like, doesn't he have to? I'm sure he has to perform this year. I remember
Yeah.
reading.
Look it up.
I think it was.
Have you seen the gap?
It might have been Autosport.
The gap between the field and Lance Stroll in the Japanese GP. It's almost, he was a sector behind with no problems. It was like at least 20 seconds.
Well, he was 21 seconds behind 19th place.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I mean,
There was one car lapped in the Japanese Grand Prix. Can you guess who it was?
Yeah, exactly.
Can you tell what it is
I
yet?
wonder now.
is it the inbred? Is it the
Yes.
invalid?
Yes. Yes, it was.
Now that's a mystery solved.
Yeah, I could see him going to Aston.
Yeah, I have a vision that Lance Stroll got fired this year. That's just a vision.
I have a dream.
I have a dream.
You seem to have a lot of visions right now. Anyway,
Yeah,
to
the
go
voices are
through a
getting
couple
louder.
of to go through a couple of things right now. First of all, Viro pointed out, which I think is right, that right now we have had so far one of the most stable seasons, which does point to having one of the most competent grids in terms of crashes, in terms of reliability. And to like do a little roundhouse, go back to our qualifying things, so we can have go back
Roundhouse.
to qualify. Yeah, little Rundumschlag, as we say in German. Ocon made it up
Umschlag.
Ocon made it up to P8 after DNFing his qualifying. He is in a Haas. He is definitely not one of the worst drivers in terms of pure performance on the grid. We can talk about personality and like behavior another time. But I would like to
And
bring it
looks.
back. And looks, yes. We can try to bring
right,
it back
Alison.
to qualifying.
Yep.
Going from 10th up, we have Yuki Tsunoda. First time Red Bull, second Red Bull car has been in Q3 this season. That's a talking point. Lewis Hamilton in P9, Sainz in P8, Verstappen P7, Norris in P6, Gasly again, fucking somehow dragged his car up. Antonelli in P4, pre everything. Charles in P3, and Russell in P2, with Oscar, my boy, taking pole position.
By I'd say a country mile. It's like
2/10, 1.5.
Almost 2/10. Yeah, 1.5.
A moment for the blunder that Mercedes made in qualifying.
Yes.
I have written down here, during the investigation the stewards did, they heard from a team representative that when there's a red flag, the stewards put out an expected restart time and then an actual restart time. The Mercedes engineers read what would say expected session start time and then sent their cars into the pit lane.
Oh,
This
no.
is a huge organisation full of brains, and this kind of cock up just it shouldn't fly. There has to be questions asked.
That is a blunder.
Around the garage.
I have a question answer for you, because the person who usually does this stuff at Mercedes, the person at Mercedes who
Ron
knows
Meadows.
all of the rules, like just off the top of his head, had a family
He was away, wasn't
emergency.
he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had a family emergency, and somebody else was standing in for him. So that is how that happened.
No.
But that shouldn't be your mitigating circumstance that somebody else was doing the job.
You have to at least have two good brains on the top position if one fails.
Well, it's not about brains. It's about knowledge of the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's your brain, mate. Knowledge up here in my thinking dome.
Well, I rather consider like people like the strategist brains, but that's a different matter. Anyway, they went out too early, got a grid drop, which has never happened before, as far as I'm aware, of one place each.
Yeah.
What do you mean one place happened before? It happened in
No,
Qatar.
not the amount. I don't think anybody ever got something for that particular offense.
Yeah, because nobody else does anything that fucking stupid. Other than Ferrari, but Ferrari haven't even stooped that low.
I mean, yeah. Getting disqualified.
I mean, one of my favourite pictures of all time is from the Australian Grand Prix. Shows everybody on the grid pissing down rain on Inter. And then you've got Leclerc Hamilton. Hard.
That's the Ferrari way.
Have you been 2024 in Canada and Silverstone? They did pull the same shit in mid-race.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was pissing down rain and they sent Leclerc out on the hard.
And he wasn't even on first and
Actual
second like
records.
this race. It was dead
No, he was
last.
dead last.
That was
He may as
No.
well have not turned up.
even a worse weekend for us.
Right. So that happened.
Do you think it was the right decision that they sent them out on the hards at the start of this race?
Yes.
Like I was sitting in front of the TV and I was looking at everyone's tires, and my wife sat next to me, and sat next to me, and she was like, "Why are they on hards? Everyone else is on mediums and on softs. Like, I think only the Astons were on hards as well, and
I have it written down. It was everybody on the grid was on soft,
Mm.
apart from Leclerc, Hamilton, Alonso, Lawson, and Bortoletti,
yeah,
who were on
I
mediums.
think
yeah,
Ferrari doesn't have the car right now. Doesn't have the car right now to win on pace. They have to do things with strategy, and that's not good to a Ferrari. So they tried to do it.
Yup.
It went not that bad actually. They had a
I was
good.
going to say, in fairness, it went pretty well for them.
Yeah, I mean,
You know,
right until the safety car emerged.
they
I
should
think.
have put him. Wait, what was the last tire? They should have gone on the mediums. I think they did hards again.
They went no. They went medium, hard. I guess. I think.
No, the Ferraris.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. They went medium hard.
yeah, because they didn't want to take the softs 23 laps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Russell managed it.
Somehow.
Incredible.
I mean, Russell's performance this year, this race, or even this year, is extraordinary.
Well, should we go through the race chronologically?
Well,
Yeah.
do we quickly want to talk about the last things that happened in qualifying before we do that?
Oh yeah, let's finish up with qualifying.
So
and then
Noda
for the
getting
race.
into Q3 for the first time as the second Red Bull. Very nice. Carlos Sainz, as Vira pointed out, getting his first ever Q3 with Williams.
Yeah!
Antonelli being up in fourth on the grid is quite impressive. Gasly in the Renault. Those are the things I think should be quickly
Alpine.
talked about.
Yeah.
Brother said Renault.
Fucking French canal boat.
Well, it is the Renault.
Yeah, it should be
No,
Renault.
it's the Alpine.
But
The Alpine Renault.
Renault sounds cooler and has better colors.
I prefer the Alpine
Bro,
colors.
don't
Fucking
diss
yellow
the
was
Alpine
really
blue.
I
cool.
The
fucking
Alpine
love
blue's
the
sick.
Alpine blue. Alpine Renault, I mean, that's the engine. Anyway, like, Sainz, okay, pretty good. Tsunoda, I mean, progress? Gasly, I don't fucking know. Suddenly we have COVID Gasly back.
And Norris threw it away.
Oh, he did, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucked up.
First sector, he immediately bottled it.
I can't understand the Lando Norris mentality. It seems to be he needs a rocket ship and everything else to go his way for him to even come close to winning the race. There's just too many creases and mistakes that he just needs to iron out before he can even think about being world champion. Oscar Piastri, on the other hand, boy, that kid's good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a Helmut Marko quote. I mean, Helmut Marko is a lunatic right now, but still, he was telling facts right now. He said, like, Lando Norris is... He said he talked very good about Oscar and didn't talk so good about Lando. He said he's not a world champion material yet. And I agree with that completely. When you bottle the start like this, I think, then the qualifying, he bottled qualifying, sorry. And then goes onto the start
Well,
and
he
jump
bottled the
start.
start as well.
Yeah.
he
No, he gained 3 places at the
Yeah,
start.
it was a
Yeah,
false
because he
start.
bottled
Oh, wait,
the entry.
he did have a false start.
Yeah.
Because of the false start, he gained these positions. So, I don't know, he even gained a bit more, I would say.
I'd have said he definitely gained a competitive advantage in being further forward in his box compared to everybody else. There's
You
no
think
doubt.
so? Like,
No doubt in
like
my
the
mind.
like 20, 30 centimeters? Is that much of an advantage?
I mean, that makes up for like a couple of hundreds, like I would say half a tenth in reaction time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyways, like even like Lando isn't known for his good starts usually, but he nailed that one. Even if he was 20, 30 centimeters further back, he would have gotten these 3 places anyways, I think.
Yeah. And the one time he has a great start, he still
Yeah, he
managed to fuck it up.
he gets
Well,
5 seconds.
are we moving on to the race now?
I think.
Yeah,
you
I
can,
think.
yeah. Average reaction time for a qualifying start is 0.3 seconds, and for the start, Oscar held it well. What else happened?
Well, obviously there was the Lando moving from 6th to 3rd by turn 4.
Yeah.
Antonelli sort of got swallowed up on the start.
So did the
He
Saubers.
dropped down to 7th. Yeah, who gives a fuck about the Saubers?
I do, because of
Wheelie bins with wings.
Falkenberg.
They're wheelie bins with a wing.
I
strapped
don't
on the front.
care!
Yes. Speaking of the Lando like 5 second penalty, I was watching when he came into the pit lane and I was thinking these 5 seconds wouldn't have mattered that much, to be honest. Like he had a pretty decent gap, like when he came into the pit
Oh yeah,
for
no,
the first
the
time. I think.
penalty was null and
Yeah.
void by the end of the first stint.
Well, yeah, they were supposed to be straying away from giving 5-second penalties, weren't they?
Yeah.
So I think everyone thought, he's going to get a 10-second penalty, and then they just slapped him with a 5.
Remember when
Yeah.
we were in the race VC, and we all were like, what the fuck?
Well, beyond the start of the race, the first thing I have written down here is Piastri breaks DRS lap 2.
We did.
Oh
Like-
yeah.
But he broke DRS to Russell at turn 4, lap 2, and never looked back.
I mean,
No.
I will just... we have to tell about Piastri. He went 15 seconds into the lead after the late safety car. So I think we might have...
He led 54 laps.
Yeah, but he had a gap of 15 seconds.
There was 3 laps where it was Ferrari 1-2
Yeah.
Oh.
after everybody else boxed.
We're jumping way ahead now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. We'll go right. Let's do it chronologically.
Yes.
Yeah, we're doing this like 50 minutes now.
Lap 4 was the first sort of complaint we were getting from a driver, and it was Hamilton in the Ferrari, and he was complaining about the medium tyres and the amount of grip they were giving him.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, the next thing that came up was Norris noted, then under investigation pretty quickly. Obviously, it didn't take them long to come to a conclusion on that when they gave him a 5-second penalty, which, in retrospect, I don't think was enough, but it is consistent with the infraction. Alonso got a 5-second penalty for his parking in grid box at the 23 Saudi Grand Prix.
Yeah, I think so. And then there was, I think that then they also didn't they do tougher pit sensors and change a bit of the rules after Lando could not be given a jumpstart penalty that one time, I believe. I want to say it was Miami when the sensors didn't go off.
So there was a lot of talk. After a race, I tend to shy away from F1 social media because it becomes a cesspool of biased arguments. People saying somebody never did anything wrong, and FIA bashing. But there was a lot of talk about Miami in Lando's start, but I don't recall.
Something about that, but yeah, it's not the first time Lando had a start infringement in the last couple of seasons.
Up next, I've written that Antonelli was really impressive.
He was
racing really hard. He sent it down the inside of Carlos Sainz into turn 1 from an absolute different postcode behind. He ran a little bit deep, Sainz got him back. He made it stick through turn 1, and then by turn 4, Verstappen was alongside, danced it around the outside, just about stayed on the white line, but still had to give the obligatory, "He left me no space."
I mean, I don't know.
That coming from Max, man.
I lost a bit of connection, and I mean mental connection in the race. How did he end up fighting Verstappen, who ended up in P6 at the end, and then in the end of his race didn't even score a point? I don't understand how that works.
Because Sainz retired.
Yeah, no, I mean Antonelli a bit.
Oh, Antonelli.
Were we talking about Sainz or Antonelli? I thought we were talking about Antonelli.
I was going on a bit of a spiel about Kimi Antonelli.
Yeah,
and how he was being really
Antonelli
impressive.
wasn't in the points.
Yeah.
But he was putting on a fucking show.
He was.
Oh yeah, he already did that in Melbourne, I think.
Oh no, it didn't even compare to Melbourne. He was just absolutely throwing the car down the inside. Everybody into turn 1. From God knows how far back. The move on Sainz, he must have been about 2 car lengths back and just threw it down the inside and hoped for the best.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Haven't Doohan, Behrman, and Antonelli been talking about how they use iRacing lines in actual races, which is hella impressive.
That would not surprise me in the slightest.
Yeah, I mean, Doohan did his whole DRS thing because of a simulator, so I wouldn't be surprised if he also does racing lines from the simulator.
Next thing I've got written down is Hamilton getting past Sainz on the run into turn 11. Sainz just sort of waved him through, per se. He moved off the racing line, slowed down a little early, and just allowed Lewis to go through. But then Yuki Tsunoda pins it around the outside, turn 12.
Yeah, around Sainz. Right. Sainz dropped 2 places, viruses as well. I think we need to pick up the pace a little bit. We're already at an hour of recording.
Yeah.
Oh god.
And we didn't even talk about the hair from Lewis Hamilton.
I think we might need to separate this into multiple podcasts: a race review and then the band.
No.
Why do we have a time limit? A moment for the Red Bull light issue in the pit lane.
Oh my god, yes, the Red Bull downfall. That's a big discussion, I think.
That thing is insane to me. How they did not tell it to Yuki.
I remember saying during the race, there was a McLaren employee on the outside of the track with an EMP.
Yes, somebody said that.
Fucking everybody's day up.
Also, Viro is saying something about the pits right now, so I'm going to relay that once it's done. Leclerc had an interesting call. Oh, right, there was that Leclerc being very unhappy with the strategy, wasn't he?
Yeah. Martin Brundle speculated that Leclerc wanted the 1 stop, and Ferrari just said no and forced him onto the 2.
Classic Ferrari move.
That's a Ferrari thing.
I mean, they annoyed every driver, at least one of the driver in one race. I think they annoyed Leclerc and Suzuka already. They annoyed both of the drivers in Australia. And in China they also fucked it a bit with Charles Leclerc front wing and annoyed him there a bit. So congrats on making your drivers hate your team now. Congratulations, Ferrari.
Now? They've been through that a long time ago. That's been over the fence a long time ago.
I wouldn't even say that light. I would say the topic should be Red Bull downfall in general.
Well, they did hold crisis talks, didn't they, with all their seniors after the race?
Yeah.
I think slight overreaction, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I don't think
like
it's time.
There was obviously some, computer gremlins, electricity things going on. There was the whole thing with Russell's DRS, the timing tower. I wonder if, all the electric things with the light and all of that are somewhat related. But then, otherwise, there was one Verstappen pit stop that the team cocked up. But other than that, the team didn't explicitly do anything wrong.
No,
Yeah.
It's as Virus said, they're not crumbling down. They need to readjust a bit, but I don't think it's a complete downfall. I don't think we should be talking about something like that. In the end, they still won the last race.
But still think about it. They absolutely slapped the cocks on the table last year in Bahrain. They were 1-2 with 20 seconds lead with Max Verstappen. And now, this race, he was at one point dead last in P20. I mean, after pit stop, yes.
All it is a mentality shift.
Yeah.
They've gone from winning, 21 out of 22 races in a year.
22 out of 23 even.
What did I say? 21 out of 22. Yeah, sorry, 22 out of 23 because they only lost Singapore. Yeah, they've gone from that to, third in the constructors, and a lot of that is because of the feedback that they were getting throughout 23 was from Max saying, "Well, it's fine, the car's great, it's fast."
And then Checo was saying, "No, it's not."
But then, how much of Checo's feedback did they actually account? How much of it did they say, "Oh yeah, maybe Checo's got a point"?
A total.
None of it.
A total
because
number
Checo
of zero.
Was shit.
A total number of zero, my beliefs. I mean, they're only third in the constructors right now because Ferrari can pull their shit together. But that's the other thing.
But at the end of the day, they're still a Grand Prix winning team this year.
Yeah.
It's not like the team is barely scraping through a Grand Prix weekend. To me, crisis talks are when you can't afford to get to the next Grand Prix or something like that. When you're in real trouble.
They're pulling the 2022 Mercedes thing. Like, they went to the same thing. They also had that ultimatum against the team managers, against the designers and stuff. They had, tons of mass discussions after the race. And ultimatums were pulled. I think they're doing the same with, Mercedes. They're pulling the same stuff. I think next year there's completely changed, so I don't know what we should think about that.
Say at the end of the day, we're at the end of the regulation period. Every car is going to be at the peak of their design philosophies. It's not like we've just come into the new regs and whatever they've built is a piece of dog shit. It's just the fact that there is no more. I imagine there's not much more pace they can find in the car.
Yeah.
Especially with the loss of Newey.
Yeah, probably.
The loss of Newey is, I want to say, is affecting them, but we don't know all of that. It's speculation.
It could be coincidence.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Let's be real. Newey probably had a little group of apprentices and whatever that he's shown how to work, how to design.
Yeah.
All the aerodynamic parts of the car. Without Newey, I don't think they're struggling as much as people are giving them credit for. That's what I'm trying to say.
Mm.
I think everything. It's just a bit of shit has hit the fan at the minute.
I agree.
And everybody just needs to take a step back and just remember they've won a Grand Prix this year. They're not scraping through the season. They're doing fine.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah,
Viro agrees as well.
I mean, Max is doing fine. Yuki's catching up now.
No, I'd have said Yuki was doing just fine. He's learning.
I mean,
after
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He's catching up.
After the Japan weekend, Yuki said something like, "I don't know how Max drives this car," something like that, and he seems to have got the hang of it. Touch wood.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, the Bahrain is also the track everybody has the most kilometers on by now.
But I'm also thinking for the future of the season. Everybody brings upgrades. If they can't find on that Red Bull any upgrades for over the winter break, how are they gonna keep up in the season if they can't find anything?
They will just won't. They will just say, okay, fuck it, we go to 26.
Yeah, they just say, right, that's it. we're done now. Everybody go and work on 26.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
the right thing to do. I think that's what William is already doing. All of the stuff that William will be bringing will be stuff left over from last year, as James Rolfe has said.
Yeah.
So
Well, the RB21 was like in preseason testing was the least developed car over the off season, so it wouldn't surprise me if sort of 70-75% of Red Bull's workforce is already looking ahead to 26.
Yeah.
it would be the
That's
smart
what-
thing to do.
That's a good point.
I hope Ferrari is doing the same for their sakes. To point out one thing about 26, says our silent man. McLaren and Ferrari right now are testing on 25 spec cars some 26 airflow parts that might just transfer to 26. So you're saying that they can already test airflow parts on this year's car, which would be very interesting. Like
Yeah,
the
but
new McLaren front wing.
They're way smaller.
No,
Yeah, but that doesn't work.
but
The new front wing is going to look completely different.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That
The
doesn't
car
work.
for 26 is so much different.
Yeah, it's narrower. It has like the little wings inside of the wheels, not outside.
Yeah.
So it's not going to work like that.
What the fuck are the 26 front wings?
I
They're
don't
gonna
know.
be, they're gonna be such a ball ache for the teams because now when you smack your front wing off, yeah, that's what like when you
30?
lose an end plate. That's 20, 30 grand when you lose your end
Oh.
plate or whatever.
I thought
In 26, if you smack your front wing and you lose your end plate, that's going to cost so much more money because of the X whatever it was, XY mode, whatever.
Yep, that's
Fucking
it.
TIE fighter bullshit that's going on.
But just as didn't they pass the?
Yeah.
I'm not sure right now, but the 2026 regulations. I think they didn't even pass the FIA regulations right now, so I don't think if they can actually work on them.
Yeah, they've still been discussing.
Yeah.
Even the engines were in the discussion real quick.
I've
so
heard that about the V10 engines that there are a few brands. I think there was Audi, Honda,
V10s.
and Mercedes who don't want V10 backs, because it was critical for them, or a big point.
So of course, Audi aren't going to
Yeah,
want one.
because
because they have now joined in and developed the
Yeah.
2026
Yeah, so
engine.
Audi would have already built their 26 V6 engine.
Yeah. Like,
Mercedes
aw.
aren't going to want one because Mercedes have a fantastic power unit as it is.
Yeah.
I think it was Honda, Audi, and Cadillac didn't want the V10s. The rest said,
Yeah.
It's discussions like this. I think the teams should only have like a limited amount of input on. Going back to the whole Cadillac 11th team joining the grid, it was the teams didn't want that because they'd lose prize money.
Prize
Yeah.
money, TV money, yeah.
If you ask me, that's not a reason to say no. We can't have another car. We can't have another team.
Yeah. We don't want to share.
Yeah, that's all it is. We don't want to share our prize money that we don't actually have yet.
capitalistic
So-
But why do we even want V10s back? Like, all that's doing right now is baiting us so to look the other way and go, oh, V10s. Like, come on, V10s, yes, they sounded great, but we don't even know if that would work with the current spec of car, with how big they are and all of that. I think that's the wrong thing to focus on right now. I think, I don't know.
The engine cover would have to change shape.
I mean, the V10s still not lighter, but not lighter weight.
Yeah, manufacturers already turned out the idea. It's not happening.
Yeah, but they
However,
are more reliable. They are cheaper to develop instead of a hybrid system. And if you use the biological fuel or whatever the bullshit that they're using now, it's even healthier for the environment because they don't have to use the batteries.
Yep.
And batteries are poison.
Yes, the environment, yes.
Yeah, we
On
are.
the subject,
yeah, no.
on the
Greta
subject
Thunberg
of the
looks
environment,
nice.
on the subject of the environment, I'm going to go to British Touring Car Championship.
Oh my god, we're jumping around like a kangaroo. Let's go.
No. This is completely valid. This is completely relevant. So for this year, the British Touring Car Championship has abandoned the use of hybrid power in their cars. So last year they had hybrid technology in their cars, and the drivers could use it for a certain number of seconds per lap. A bit like the push to pass in IndyCar.
Yeah.
So so for this year they've completely abandoned it, and they've introduced a 100% sustainable hyperflow fuel.
Yeah.
Which means that across the touring car season, so the 30 races that they do, because they do 3 a weekend, across the season, the emissions from the cars, so if you think about it, the air weighs fucking nothing. The emissions saved in using this new 100% sustainable fuel is equal to the weight of 37 touring cars.
Oh, wow.
The same thing happened in WRC, a World Rally Championship. They completely changed the engines. I mean, it's not like a big V10. It's more like a 4-cylinder, 5 cylinders, 6 V6s. But still, they don't have any hybrid right now. And they're doing very good. They're even more environmentally friendly than F1 right now.
Yeah, like the touring cars only have little, I think they're little 2-litre turbocharged, like 4-bangers or something. They have like 350, somewhere between 350, 400 horsepower. But the idea that we can now scrap hybrid power is so exciting to me. I hate battery management. I hate that's what it's come down to. The golden age is just how fast can you drive your car. That's what Formula One needs to be.
Yeah.
None of this. Oh, we need to go green to save the environment. I hate it.
Yeah, I think they ruined IndyCar.
And I think that's why V8s or V10s are really good. Like, I know V6s are still... I mean, they were alright. Like the 2021 cars, for example, they sounded okay. Like at certain times, like the Red Bull sounded really good, but if you compare it to the Renault, it sounded pretty trash, I think. And like if we bring back like V8s or V10s, it's gonna be, as Bojan already said, it's gonna be cheaper, it's gonna be louder, it's gonna be more exciting. I think there's only upsides to it. Of course, the engine manufacturers would have to agree, and it's going to be like 2020, like 2030, somewhere in that area, where the new Rex could come in after we have this one. So or 2031, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm gonna completely piss everyone off now, and say that fuck all of that. Who the fuck needs more noise? I think Formula One should not...
Average Formula E viewer.
I fucking love the sound of Formula E cars, and I will... Where the fuck did that come from? I am, but like, what the fuck? No, like, hear me out here. Actually, like, all of the noise, that stuff, it's a nice byproduct, but that's not what it is about either. Like Woodin has said. It's about how you
emotion
can,
and passion and
you can have emotion and passion
Vibrations.
with literally any fucking vehicle that there is.
No, but if you tell me that a 2003, what was it, Renault doesn't like feel better than a like 2025 F1 car, I don't know what is wrong.
How much of that is rose tinted glasses nostalgia though?
Yeah, how much of that is that? How
like
much
legit,
of
if you look at the onboards, it looks so fucking good.
The car,
like, it's so nimble, it's agile, it sounds good.
Make the cars lighter, make the cars smaller, all of that. Yeah. But I do not fucking care about how the engine sounds or even what power they're using. For all I care.
Let's just completely electrify Formula One.
Yeah, why the fuck
let's
not?
do that.
Oh yeah.
Why the fuck not?
Let's just run them all on fucking double A's, shall we?
I mean, if you're gonna...
Formula E is very exciting.
Make it a remote control car series.
But it's gay.
Formula E is very exciting.
No.
Yes, it is.
No.
You have not watched a single Formula E
One
race this
is
year.
about noise, it's about passion, it's about emotion. And personally, the best motors they had were the V12s.
Finn, can I go on a tangent about Formula E and why it's shit? So...
Formula E is not shit. I will not hear it out.
Bojan. No. Let's not go into Formula E this round. No.
I had a track day a while ago. It was the Masters Historic. And at the Masters Historic, they had some... pretty sure they were V8 era Formula 1 cars. You know, your late... can't remember the year. But, your V8 motors. and they V8 motors. But I will be honest, they really fucking hurt your ears. After a while.
Yeah. You cannot
go obviously
for an hour after. You can hear your ears ringing.
Yeah, you cannot.
That's what I want. That's what I fucking want.
Yeah, if I'm gonna pay £300 or whatever for a general admission ticket, I want to get violated. That's why I'm there.
And that's going in the best parts. If I'm paying £300, I want to be violated.
What I want is good
let's
racing.
add that to the words of wisdom.
What I want is good racing, and I want
good racing paired with a good soundtrack. Boom.
No, give me good commentators. Commentators are so much more important than whatever fucking noise they make.
Finn, what are you doing?
Because with the best will in the world, you can't hear the commentators when you're at the track. Doesn't matter how close you stand to the speaker. You cannot hear the commentators when the cars come past. Regardless of the series.
But how are most people watching Formula 1? Are they watching at the track or are they watching in the TV?
They're watching on the telly.
Yeah.
But they can still hear the cars.
Of course. But they hear more of the commentators.
Yeah, they need to get Martin Brundle to make, like, meow.
Martin Brundle can be that guy from Kota a few years ago, standing in the microphone going, meow, meow.
Oh my goodness.
But for real,
Great balls of fire.
give me like Formula E this season at least has proven how fucking exciting the racing can be, even if you go fully rectorized, which I don't think is the full way for Formula 1, by the way. I think
it's not about the excitement, like how close it can be and how good the motors in electric are. It's about how emotional it is. I like to watch Formula E on mute, just look at the race, don't care about anything else, but I I love to listen to Formula 1, like
loud
the cars,
noises.
like yes, loud noises equals neuron activation. No, but it is
man
as
hair
simple as
car,
that.
man happy.
this is gonna be the hottest take
basically.
of the fucking.
Unga bunga.
This is gonna be the hottest take of the entire podcast for me, but I prefer the Formula E whiz and buzz to the F1 car.
No.
noises.
Whiz
Finn.
and buzz.
The downshifts.
Alright, so unfortunately, for
Okay,
next week's
okay.
episode, Finn will not be present. Finn's just been shot.
I just fucking love it.
my
I love the
goodness
sound of
gracious.
it. It sounds so good to me. Also, they have the better intro.
I mean, no.
I mean, the intro is pretty good, but,
Yeah, man.
but you can't beat dun 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 dun.
Doo-dum.
Alright.
Right, that's the
By the
intro.
way, shouldn't we talk about Lewis' curly hair?
We focused on the. Have we finished
Like-
the race yet?
Yeah, let's.
We haven't even finished the
think we
Grand.
should-
We haven't, brother. We haven't
let's
even
just
got up
focus on
to the
Lewis's hair
We
real
haven't even
quick.
got up to the safety car on lap 32 yet.
fuck
Right,
that.
let's speedrun this. Important bullet points only.
Speedrun this.
Let's go.
Lewis dreads are missing.
Where are
They are.
Last seen
His
in
hair
Japan.
extensions have gotten longer.
Do you think he pulled them out due to stress?
Yes,
I would have.
he pulled them out when he wasn't served a vegan carbonara. Anyway,
Yeah.
all right. Sonoda science incident, turn 1.
Oh my god, that was a good one.
Sonoda's
fault.
Sonoda,
It was-
fairly clean move, losing it on the apex. Penalty worthy.
Banged into.
Yes,
No,
yes,
that
I do
was-
believe so.
I think so.
Racing
See,
incidents.
I was advocating for Sonoda in that situation. I don't think he really did anything wrong.
Yeah, it wasn't like intentional or anything. It just
Yeah, but
literally
it's a
lost
racing
control.
incident.
It's a racing incident, yeah.
Harm was still
But
caused.
if I had to pin the blame on somebody, in all honesty, I'd pin it on Science.
How?
No.
So Noda lost the rear.
Sonoda lost the rear, sure, but Science isn't moving straight out of the corner. Science is drifting to the right towards Sonoda.
Yeah, because there was a corner big there. Mate.
Yeah, I was just about to say he has to.
Yeah, but
like-
you can
just
move,
go straight on over
you
the
can-
corner.
You can move to the right before the left-hander, sure, when there isn't a car on the right-hand side.
Well, that's called closing the door on somebody. You might have seen
Yeah,
that.
but
That's called racing,
yeah, but
mate.
you can't close the door when they're right fucking next to you, because that's how accidents happen.
I bet you if Sonoda didn't lose his rear, they wouldn't have crashed
Yeah.
at
No,
all.
they would not. Obvious.
Oh, no. Losing the rear was the catalyst.
Yeah, but then it's Yeah, but then it's
No,
not
but-
Sainz's fault.
But had Sainz not moved, it wouldn't have happened. Anyway, right, I digress.
Anyways,
So,
let's continue.
safety car deployed, lap 32. Verstappen stays out, prioritising track position. Everybody else boxes. Hamilton, great job with the stops, guys. Stroll and Lawson, incident at turn 2. Stroll slams the door shut, and I think he dislodged Lawson's front wing in the process.
And probably his part of
Tsunoda noted for causing a collision. Pretty sure that got no investigation. Russell, 20 laps on soft, pretty atrocious, was his words. Great mixed tyre strategy for the next 20 laps. Everybody was on a different compound, which was awesome. Hamilton passed Norris on the restart. Norris gets back at turn... it was at turn 4, because Norris went off, had to give the position back. It was about here, Russell's transponder issues started to happen.
Yeah, that was fucking
Which was-
annoying, but anyway.
It was really, really fucking bizarre.
Yeah.
Yep.
On lap 37 says Vero.
Lawson Stroll noted for safety car infringement, no further investigation. Timing tower broke, just stopped working. They were
Oh
giving
my
us
God.
that race classification bullshit.
Everybody was having an aneurysm.
Next news was +5 second penalty, Lawson causing a collision, +10 second penalty, Sainz forcing Antonelli off track with that lock up into turn 10. But then Norris only gets +5 for cheating. But I digress. Around now, we've discovered that the issues Russell was having were affecting the DRS for not only him, but the people around him. Then we saw the hole inside of the Williams.
That was a big
See all
ass
the
hole.
radiators and the hoses and shit. All I've written here, Norris, lock up, turn 1, bottle.
Bottle.
Yeah.
I believe he was trying to overtake Leclerc.
I mean, that's what you do when you're behind the car.
Sainz box to retire lap 47. I had written penalty not served, but it came out after the race that he did serve the penalty. He boxed the lap
Yes.
before, served the penalty, did another lap, retired.
Stewards just fucked that one up.
What the fuck?
Piastri was reminded to use his drink. He replied saying something along the lines of, "I would if it worked,"
Yep.
Oh.
I have that screenshot.
which was tragic, by the way. Russell, this was his engineer. We may lose the dash. Russell, as long as the wheel doesn't fall off. Which I think was a hint at the whole Fernando Alonso taking
Yes,
the wheel
yes,
off.
it
Alonso,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, it was.
What the fuck?
That stuff happens more than you think, by the way.
Really?
Like, it's...
That's so scary. Holy shit.
Well, it was on purpose.
Then it was Russell being given the manual override for DRS, which was driver default blue 46 or something. Blue 40, 46, something like that.
Doesn't really matter.
Then Russell noted DRS infringement, investigated after the race, found out it was all bullshit, and they were just making us hold our
Wait,
cocks
wasn't-
just in case, and it was blue balls.
Wasn't his drink button opening up the DRS?
Apparently.
I think his drink button, because his car...
No, it was the radio
Oh,
button.
yeah, it was
radio button
it was
fucking
his-
opened the DRS.
It was
Yeah.
his auxiliary radio button. They remapped it in the garage to open his DRS, and in trying to communicate with the team, he pressed it and opened his DRS.
Yeah.
April
But he gained no
Fools.
advantage.
Well,
So
he
it
gained
wasn't-
0.02 seconds and then gave up like 2.5 tenths or something in the next corner.
Wow.
What's up next? Lots of black and white flags going out, more than I thought we'd see. I think I
Mhm.
got
That's
about
always
6 in
Bahrain.
this race.
That's always Bahrain. Like I don't...
Oh,
German
I thought you said
comment-
the rain.
No, that's always for Bahrain. German commentators always like make little lists where they keep note of that, and it's always in Bahrain that we get some of the most track limits.
Final thing I got written down is Hamilton, driver of the day.
How? What
Absolute
bullshit?
fucking robbery.
Who paid these people? I wonder.
Who
would,
is your...
Only Behrman should have gone.
Who's
I'm going to
your
go
driver
through the
of
list
the
at
day?
the bottom. I'm going to go to Vitch first. Vitch, who is your driver of the day for the Bahrain Grand Prix?
Ollie motherfucking Behrman.
Why?
No doubt. Because he went from, what was it, P20? Yeah, P20 up to P10, which is incredible in a Haas.
Fantastic. Good stuff. Sherry, driver of the day, please.
Probably Pierre Gasly.
Great. Why?
Well, he just performed well all weekend, but the fact that he got points and so high in the standings, I think it's just good. It's out of character from what we've seen recently, so I think he deserves to be rewarded for that.
Fair.
Finn, do I dare ask you, or are you going to say Nico Hülkenberg?
No, Hülkenberg getting up to P13 before getting disqualified was pretty good, but I'm gonna have to give it to Oscar Piastri for not putting a step wrong the entire race.
Are you going to transcribe Viro when I ask him?
Yes, I will.
Viro, driver of the day, please. I was going to say, don't tell me you're saying Lawson.
No. It's Gasly for Viro.
It's Gasly.
So, what was that? That's 2 votes for 2 votes Gasly, 1 vote Piastri, and 1 vote Behrman.
Yes, what is your driver of the day, Widow?
I'm going to cast my vote in the direction of... Max Verstappen.
Hey, what?
Max
What?
Verstappen.
Why?
Purely for the fact that at one point in that race, that man ran 20th, and somehow, some way, he still manages to maximise everything he can get out of that car.
So did
The
Behrman.
final lap overtake, Pierre Gasly. Yeah, but I like Max.
I'm biased.
I don't particularly like Behrman, I'll be honest. I don't know what it is about him. I think he was far too overhyped after his debut in the Ferrari.
I think he proved
But I
it.
digress.
Anyway, that's a different topic.
I mean, yeah.
Right.
Who's next?
Is
Bojan.
Is Bojan here? Bojan, driver of the day,
Bojan.
please, sir.
So, yeah, I was gone, sorry, for a minute. Driver of the day, I would say Russell. George Russell, because he had a problem with the steering wheel all the
point.
race. His completely car had a nervous breakdown. Completely the electric stuff with the DRS and the steering wheel and the GPS was all connected. And he had problems with that all the race and still finished second, holding off Pando, Buttle, Norris. And yeah, I think I would say point out to George Russell. He's driving a fantastic season. I think if Mercedes or McLaren has a slight fall off, he might be up for race wins and championships, and the championship.
Fair.
You know what? Yeah, no, that's completely valid. I think I almost agree with him. I didn't even consider Russell driving without with all of the issues he was having.
No.
Has anybody got anything else they'd like to add?
I would want to add that another good shout for...
Don't talk about Formula E.
What? No. I'm not getting myself more hated than I already am. I've stated my piece. Pascal Wehrlein is the GOAT.
Finn, you're getting an ultimatum right now. If you
What?
talk about Formula E one more time,
Banned.
I will
No more podcasts for Finn.
even worse, I will dox him on the internet, and then everybody comes to his house, and we have
Right, no more
podcast.
podcast
Don't
for
say
Bojan.
Calm the fuck
No more
down.
podcast
Say
for
that.
Bojan.
Jesus.
Right, I don't
Right,
fucking
on
care
that-
about your ultimatum. No.
Go on,
Just
Finn.
for context, Finn was trying to tell him, like before the podcast, he was trying to say, or like to tell him, you can have my microphone if you'd like, and now Bojan has like threatened to dox Finn. So just everybody knows like what kind of person Bojan seems to be. Just putting it out there.
Snake
No.
Thank you, Vitch.
Just
And the thing that I did want to point out was Hülkenberg's disqualification, which was tragic because putting a Sauber in P13, I think, was impressive.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the
Entirely
difference
reasonable.
between no points and no points is no point, so it's not that tragic.
Boom! Get fucking
Fair
mathed
enough.
on.
fair enough.
Bojan pulled out the numbers. The difference between
Yeah,
no points
man,
and
the
no points.
calculator is
Points.
spinning in my
You
head.
should get
Yes.
used to no point Bojan as a
Quick
Ferrari
Brother's
fan.
got bars.
Yeah,
Difference between no points and no points. No points.
Stroll overtakes, safety car
I like that.
deployment, jumps to P8, says Viro right now, for Max's race. Oh, Lawson being absolute shit, and getting like 15 seconds in penalties.
Is that new? That's not big news for me.
Bro's got. I swear he has like the same number of seconds of penalties as Grand Prix starts.
No, he has more.
Ah.
No, he has more seconds of
Anything else?
penalties, I think.
Anybody? Any more for any more?
I don't know.
Not for me though.
Go on, Sherry. Surely you've got something in that head of yours.
I'm out of ideas, lads. I think we should end it.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to take the opportunity to end it right here, right now. I'm going to end it all.
Yeah,
it all.
in front of the camera.
No, the host with the most suicide attempts!
Let's say, what's that? That's 2 for this episode now.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
going to hang himself on the boat, wasn't he?
God, what a depressing episode.
Oh yeah, it's going to be depressing. Lewis Hamilton's lost his dreads.
Right? Did we talk? That was supposed to be the fucking title of the.
Yeah, we
episode.
talked about it. They were.
Yeah, we talked about it briefly.
We
did.
need to. Hang on.
It doesn't need to be the highlight of the
Yeah.
video.
I mean,
No,
we
no,
didn't
no.
talk
Actually
about
not.
anything specific. We just
We
yelled at
interviewed
each
his
other.
stylist.
I'm gonna go and interview his hairdresser and ask him why he gave him a mullet.
I had a
Yeah.
dream that both Oscar Piastri and Lando
I have a
Norris
dream.
fucking hired me to do their nails.
What the fuck?
What the fuck? Okay.
I think
Right,
we
on
should
that
end it
bombshell-
right now. End it.
On
Wrap it
that
up.
on that note,
On that
on that note,
Just wrap it up right now.
yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So on today's episode of the Formula Schizo Podcast, we've discussed a variety of things. Maybe too many. We've gone boat shopping. We've rewatched the Bahrain Grand Prix. What else did we do? Oh, we watched Sherry's masterpiece video. What the fuck is that on my floors? Oh, I found a screw.
Is it the one that you've got loose?
I was just about to say.
No, there's only one of them.
that's
Other
the
than
last
that,
one.
I think we're about done. So we'll be seeing you in the next episode of the Formula Schizo Podcast. I've been your host, Widow, and I'll see you next time.
Bye bye, guys.
Cheers.
Ciao.
Bye.
I have a dream.